Now, just like with part 96, you know what to do. Just listen closely and don't jump to any conclusions in the comments. Alright. Of course, Michael Jackson had long associated himself with children, regularly visiting with ill children on his concert tours and inviting underprivileged youths to tour his ranch. His philanthropic activities, including those executed by his Healed World Foundation, were well known. In the past, Michael had often been seen in the company of young celebrities, such as Emmanuel Lewis and Macaulay Culkin, as well as with many youngsters who are not famous, which is why Jordan's mother and stepfather saw nothing unusual about encouraging a friendship between the pop star and their son. One of my favorite pastimes is being with children, Michael had explained in an interview. Talking to them and playing with them. Children know a lot of secrets and it's difficult to get them to tell. Children are incredible. They go through a brilliant phase, but then when they reach that certain age, they lose it. My most creative moments have always almost come when I am with children. When I'm with them, the music comes to me as easily as breathing. When I'm tired or bored, children revive me. Two brown eyes look at me so profoundly, so instantly, and I murmur, "This child is a song." In the early 90s, Michael Jackson's interest in children was viewed by most quarters where it was known about as odd, but not necessarily inappropriate. Michael was thought of not only a virgin, but asexual. He was viewed as damaged goods, a brilliant entertainer who gave all his work because he had no personal life in which to go find satisfaction. No one believed he actually got romances with girls like Tim O'Neill or Brooke Shields. No matter how much he insists that much affairs of the heart that took place in his life. Mostly where Michael's personal life was concerned, one felt that sense of sadness about it. He was an oddity, a brilliant performer and legendary recording artist whose image was perplexing and eccentric, but not sexual. Everyone who grabbed his crotch during his performances, the action didn't have a sexual connotation to it as much as it did the imprint of another clever bit of choreography. Then, of course, there are all of that business about his lost childhood. He is a man who has never had a childhood, Bert Fields, one of Michael's attorneys explained to me, as if I wasn't aware of Michael's background. So he's having his childhood now, you see? His friends are little kids, they have pillow fights, it's all innocent. I had a discussion with Michael along those same lines in 1991, after the original publication of my biography about him. I saw him and Latoya at a record collectors convention in the parking lot of Capitol Records in Hollywood. He was wearing a bright red shirt, black satin pants, and a black surgical mask. When Latoya went off in search of records by the Parrigan family, Michael and I began talking about the music of our youth, and somehow we began talking about his childhood. I miss my childhood, he said sadly. Having personally witnessed just a bit of Michael's childhood in Chino, I offered the opinion that perhaps his childhood wasn't as bad as he remembered. The biggest misconception about him was that he has lived his life sheltered from the real world and that this is why he has practically withdrawn from society. In fact, Michael has had more life encounters than most people. An immensely gifted performer, he has traveled the world many times over, entertaining people all of colors, races, and religions. He is intimate with the acceleration of a thunderous ovation of a standing room only crowd. He knows what it is to be special, to make demands and expect them to be met because of who he is. He knows what it's like to have great wealth, to be able to have his mother $1 million so she won't have to work. He has experienced the pleasure of giving of being charitable. I've seen the faces of deathly ill children light up just because he knew who he is. A lot of kids starve, Michael, I reminded him. A lot of kids are poor. They become addicted to drugs. A lot of kids don't live in mansions with servants. A lot of kids have it a lot worse than you did, in fact, I said, maybe feeling a little too self confident. I think you had a pretty good childhood. You travel, you have friends, you do what you wanted to do, didn't you? You performed, you entertained, it was fun. I think you missed your childhood, yes, but I don't think you missed out on it. Michael stared at me angrily. No, it was horrible, he countered. I had a terrible childhood. I was out performing, all the recording. The fans took over my life, he said, pointing at me. I never got to play, he complained. It was awful. See you around, he said, turning his back on me. I'm going to find Toya. The memory of that brief exchange has stayed with me over the years, especially when the common explanation to Michael's increasingly unusual behavior became that he had missed out on his youth.